Good evening, everyone. I'm Grant Cunningham, and welcome again to Training Talk here on the Personal Defense Network. This is a show where we talk about you, about your life, and how to protect it. In the next hour, we're going to explore how you can prepare and equip for that worst case scenario and keep yourself and your family from harm. Now, we don't do politics or religion on this show, and you're not going to hear any conspiracy theories or fringe commentary. Just solid authoritative information that you can put to use right now to keep you and your family safe. I call it the reasonable and positive approach to self-defense and personal security. And I hope you'll find it both educational and maybe even a little entertaining. And hey, if, as always, and I ask this every time, if you like what you're seeing here, if you like this show, please do share it with your friends and your family and your co-workers and your neighbors, through put it up maybe on your website, on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or Flipboard or LinkedIn or any of the other, I don't know. Oh, don't forget Instagram. Did I see Instagram? Put it up on any of your favorite social media and share it with other people. And I know they'll appreciate it, and I certainly will as well. So we have a really special show tonight. And in fact, and I'll get to that in a minute. We've got a couple other things to talk about, but it's really an exciting show. I think you're going to like it. I do want to tell you that, of course, we do the show the first and third Thursdays of every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, except for our next show. Our next show happens to fall on a day that I'll be traveling to the NRA show in Louisville, Kentucky. So our next show will be not 2 weeks from now, not the third Thursday, but the fourth Thursday. So our next show will be on the 26th of this month. I will have been back from the NRA for a few days then, and we can talk about anything new that I happen to see there. And I expect it to be an interesting time. I expect to get together with some of my fellow Personal Defense Network contributors, maybe some of those that are on the training tour this year, and we'll talk more about the training tour a little later. But this is one of the two shows a year, the other being the annual SHOT Show in Las Vegas, where we all get together and talk and exchange ideas and notes and all that kind of thing. So I will be traveling 2 weeks from now, and so our next show will be on the fourth Thursday, the 26th, and again, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Personal Defense Network. I do want to, before we get started, I want to get this out of the way really quickly. And you've heard me talk about this before, about the free Personal Defense Network newsletter. It comes out every week in your mailbox. And it's a great way to keep up on what's happening at Personal Defense Network. There's a lot of good training tips in it, announcements about this show. So you know when this show is coming on, you know when the recordings are available. If you didn't happen to catch the live show, you can catch the recordings. The newsletter will tell you all of this stuff. It'll tell you about the new videos and the new articles that are available on Personal Defense Network. And now there are a lot of people who are subscribed to this newsletter. And when you subscribe to the free Personal Defense Network weekly newsletter, you're not alone. Not just tens of thousands, but I want to show this to you because this is pretty cool. Let me show you this, and here we go. We'll share this so you can see this here, and right here, 280,000 people. Look at that number. 280,000 people are subscribed to the Personal Defense Network weekly newsletter. So you're in really good company. All these people are getting great information every week, and you can too. All you have to do is go to the front page on the website. Usually this little box here pops up, and you can just click on Sign Me Up, or you can go to any page on the site, and you'll see places like here at the bottom, just above the logo, where you can sign up. And there's another one here on the side where you can sign up for. So lots of ways to sign up. It's easy to sign up for, and it's easy to get unsubscribed from. If you decide you don't want to get any more, it's easy to unsubscribe from. And great information. Like I said, you'll be joining 280,000 other people here on the Personal Defense Network, getting the information that they need to keep themselves safe. So be sure and sign up for that. Don't do it now, though, because we got some really interesting stuff coming out. Wait till later. So let's see here. We're looking at at my show notes here. So that's the PDN newsletter. I want to rant for just a moment and this has something to do with our guest tonight. In fact, tonight's guest is really a You Asked For It episode because it came out of a suggestion of a viewer. But I talked last week about concealed carry in a professional environment for men and the issues that we often run into in a professional environment. And it really bothers me in the defensive training world because I see so many times when people will say, well, it's easy to conceal a full-size 1911 under this large Hawaiian print shirt. Well, that's great if you live in an area where Hawaiian print shirts are common and don't attract attention. For instance, I was in Phoenix, Arizona a few weeks back teaching on the Personal Defense Network Spring Training Tour, and I talked to you about that on the last show. In that area, the Hawaiian print shirt was completely appropriate, and people don't even look twice about it. Here in wet, rainy, dreary Oregon, they kind of stick out like a sore thumb, excuse me. And of course, you can't go into any sort of professional environment like that. But there are so many people in the defensive training world who assume that because they have maybe a blue-collar job where they can dress like that, or they're instructors, they live on a range and nobody thinks anything odd of dressing out of the norm to conceal a gun. But for the rest of it, it's a little hard. And it just grinds my gears. This should be a grinds my gears episode, but it really does frustrate me when so many people in the defensive training world pretend that they know how to conceal in an environment that they really don't have any experience with. And that kind of leads us into tonight's show. And as I said, this is kind of like a You Asked For It show, because I got an email from a fellow that had seen our last show talking about men's concealed carry in a professional, non-permissive environment. And he didn't say whether he was watching the live show or the recording, but at some point, his wife walked in and spent a couple of minutes listening to me talk about how men can carry in a professional environment. And she reportedly told her husband, well, you know, honey, that's great, but what do us women do? And I think I kind of mentioned it on the show that women have a lot tougher than men do because their fashions change. We can pretty much put on the same thing every day. As long as we change the color of our tie, nobody's really going to care. But it's expected, in other words. But women don't have that luxury. They will change their clothes more often. Their fashions change more often than ours do. And so it becomes almost sort of like a continuous moving target to conceal a defensive weapon, particularly in that professional, non-permissive environment. Now, notice I didn't say illegal, I said non-permissive, where the penalty for being caught is losing your job, not going to jail. And so he said, gee, can you do something to help my wife? And for obvious reasons, I can't, because naturally I don't wear a dress. I have been known to wear a kilt from time to time, but never a dress. And so I started thinking about who I could ask about this topic. I needed somebody who understood concealed carry, who understood self-defense, who understood defensive shooting, but also worked in a professional, non-permissive environment and was very fashionable. And I know the perfect person. Now, I'm going to be joined in a few minutes here by Julie Loeffler, who is she's a certified defensive firearms coach. She's a defensive shooting instructor. She's a member and inductee into the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, which is pretty damn cool. And she also has lived and worked in a professional, non-permissive environment for many years. And I've got to tell you, if I know anyone more fashionable than Julie, I can't off the top of my head think of who it would be. So she's really the perfect person to help us out with this tonight. So I'm going to bring her on now. Let's see, I've got to unmute her because I muted her. Bring her on. Julie, let's see here. Okay. I have you muted, and I don't know why. Are you muted yourself? No. Okay, hang on a minute. let's see here. Oh gosh, technical difficulties here, folks. I have her and I can't unmute her. I'm not sure. Oh, let's try. No. Okay, let's see here. This is, oh boy. I am not sure what is going on here, folks. My apologies. Because she is muted. Julie, would you do me a favor? Would you log off, log back in, and let's try this again? My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We had her muted, and now she is just continuously muted, and I don't know why.
Hey, how about now? Can you hear me
There
now?
we go. That's better. Yes.
Okay, great. Great. Hey.
Okay.
How about that?
That's good. Hi.
Okay. Hey, how are you?
This is what happens, folks, when we do this live, okay? This is how you know it's live, because we have screw-ups like that. So, Julie, how are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am wonderful, and thank you for coming on the show and being with us, because like I said, you are one of the most fashionable people I know. I always feel just a little underdressed when I go out for a meal with Julie.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Just be comfortable.
So, yes.
Fashion is fun.
I'm glad to hear this. As you can tell, I'm not exactly a fashion plate. And so I pretty much dress, if I'm out in public, this is pretty much what I wear all the time. But you, on the other hand, don't. And more importantly, you work in a professional, non-permissive environment. So why don't you give us an idea of what kind of work you do and how you have to dress and all that kind of thing, and your history, and I'll just let you talk.
Okay. All right. Well, I've worked in a couple of different environments. One where you are expected to dress extremely well on a daily basis. And then I've also worked in a more casual environment where it's still business casual. It's still business dress, but it's a little more casual. So I've learned to adapt in both situations, and they kind of overlap. It just kind of depends upon what your situation is. And you may have both, especially if you work in a non-permissive environment that is professional Monday through Thursday, and maybe you have a charity that you donate to on Friday so that you can dress down. That's very common. And I found, well, my first job when I was working at the State House, it was, and then as a lobbyist, it was more non-permissive, very professional. And I was not a shooter at the time. I hadn't practiced, but I was doing other things. I was carrying knives because I was in the martial arts. I was carrying flashlights. I was carrying other forms of self-defense weapons. And I just found that in an environment like that, of course, everybody pretty much realizes you don't advertise what you wear. You kind of keep it to yourself. That's why it's concealed, right? It's not on the outside, it's on the inside. And the more people that are around you, the more concealed it has to be. And now I'm working in a smaller office, a more casual environment, but we still have clients that come in and out. We're still connected to a larger non-permissive organization and a large insurance firm. And so I represent them. And I have to still be presented professionally, but it's a little bit more easy to conceal in an environment where there might be 5 or less people in an office. You're around them every day, and you get that comfort level. So it just kind of depends on where you are, and you dress and you conceal for that position.
So this brings up an interesting question, and something that I've wanted to ask you, because one of the things that we get, particularly a lot of men will say this, that, oh gosh, you don't need to go to great pains to conceal a weapon or a defensive tool of any sort, because people don't pay attention anyway. They don't notice these things. And yet I know, I think we were someplace, I don't remember if we were in Las Vegas or whether we were in your hometown, but I remember you watching a woman go by, and just out of the corner of your eye, you caught whatever handbag she was using. It was a brand you told me about. I had no idea what it was. It was some really expensive handbag. And you said something about, yeah, that's a fake. And she was like halfway across the room, and you saw it out of the corner of my eye, and you knew this stuff. So it's apparently people do pay attention to that,
Yep.
especially if you're not working with people in an office day to day, right?
Well, yeah, and think about this: if you conceal carry, you're more aware of it, and I guarantee they're looking for it. You do that, you look around, you're aware, your awareness is heightened anyway. So, I mean, don't tell me that people don't walk around and observe, because they do. They do. And so you have to be aware of that and just be prepared for it in whatever environment you're in.
All right, cool. And now, very quickly, if you were to tell me about your general philosophy of carrying defensive tools, in a couple of sentences, what would it be?
For what I do,
Yeah.
my philosophy on how I carry and what I choose to do and what I choose to carry, well,
Yeah.
you better be comfortable with what you're doing. You better be comfortable with what you're carrying, and you better be confident with it. And that brings in the whole practice element of concealed weapons. And I think that kind of sums it up. It's a kind of a big umbrella statement, but I think that kind of sums it up. You better be confident, and you better be able to deploy it, and you better be able to get to the weapon at any time.
So let's start off with, and we're going to start off with this just because I want to get it out of the way right away.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of incidents now with what is generally termed off-body carry, and when we're talking about women's carry, it usually means in a purse, right? And
Right.
I find a lot of women who are new to concealed carry, the first thing they do is they go out and buy the purse, the holster purse, the purse with the holster in it, and they stick their gun in there to carry it around. And I get the idea, and I've talked about this on the show before. I get the idea that it's certainly convenient and it fits a lot of different types of wardrobe, but is that really the best way to carry? There are some women who believe it's just the only way they can carry a defensive tool. So let's talk very quickly about off-body carries. Yes or no, pro or con?
All right. I think it's a bunch of crap that it's the only way you can carry. I think it's easy when you first start into the personal defense world and you start exploring firearms and you start looking at how you're going to conceal. It's the easiest thing to do, no question about it. I'm guilty. I am totally guilty. I'll be the first one to say I've got a couple of them upstairs, and they're nice. They're not, the $25 purses. You spend money on good product. So I think I bought a concealed carry purse for about $300, and it's nice. It's a great tote size. And I even think I did a video on it on YouTube, just, full disclosure. But if a person allows themselves to evolve and explore other options, I think they'll find that there are extremely better options out there for personal defense concealed carry. When you're in a professional environment and you're in your office and you've got your gun in your purse, I am not taking my purse to the bathroom. That means that I'm going to be separated from my firearm at some point in time, probably multiple times throughout the day. Not good, right? Not good.
Yeah.
Even if you lock it up, then what good is it? I mean, you might as well just leave it in your car, leave it at home. Not good. So that's how I feel.
That's one of the problems with I think the holster purse in general is that you have to treat the purse just like you would the gun, right? Because it's not secure. You have to secure it someplace. You can't leave it laying around. You have to keep it under observation if it's not secured all the time. And you still run the risk of somebody stealing your purse, when you're on the street, right?
Yeah. Now, let's say I'm wearing a sheath dress and we're going to dinner, and it's snug, and I really don't have a place to conceal on body. And let's say I want to carry concealed while we go to steak dinner. I could, if I'm keeping my purse with me, which I usually do, 99.9% of the time, never say always. When I'm in a restaurant, the purse is right there with me. When I go to the bathroom, purse goes with me. So I guess there are times when you could say that that's okay, but when we're talking about a professional work environment, there's so many better options out there. I would just ask women to explore other options, like we're going to talk about tonight.
Cool. All right. So let's go from there, because one of the big attractions to the holster purse, to off-body carry, is that it's easy to fit into an existing wardrobe. And, you know, that's usually the major thing that people talk about. So what are some of the ways that women can fit a defensive tool into their wardrobe? And again, particularly from the business standpoint, how can they carry a defensive tool? Let's say they're new to concealed carry and they just have started carrying, without changing their entire wardrobe. What kinds of things can they do to carry that tool with them?
There are so many options out there, from really good companies. Now, are we sticking with guns for right now, and then we'll
Yeah,
go to the other stuff later?
Yeah, let's talk about guns for right now, because I think that's probably
Okay.
where most people's concern is.
Okay, great. When in doubt, belly band. Get a good belly band, because it fits so many different situations, whether you do or don't wear a belt. And you know, that's something that we need to talk about here in just a minute, belts. But a lot of women's outfits don't come with belt loops,
And they also
especially in
don't
the
have
professional
pockets usually,
environment.
right?
Oh God, no. No. And if you do, who wants to put additional stuff down there around your waistline?
Okay.
Nobody wants to puff up. Look, nobody cares. What is it? Badge, wallet, keys. They even have these things for guys. It's like some plastic thing, and they clip everything on there, including your wallet and your knife and your flashlight, and you stick it in your front pocket, and you're like, hey, that's great. Well, women aren't doing that. No woman is doing that. No way. So belly band, I have three. I have three different
Okay.
kinds, and I think I brought one just because it's comfortable and it's the oldest, but I hate the closure. I think it's the Velcro closure.
Right.
Bad news. My favorite is that hybrid belly band that Ice Training Company and Crossbreed went together, and they made it's the Kydex holster
Right.
with the Velcros onto the belly band. Let me show it.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see it.
So here it is. This is a belly band, you guys. See it? It's this huge piece of really tough elastic. And on this particular one, the holster is that hard plastic Kydex stuff. And it's molded to fit whatever particular gun you have. I'm carrying a Glock 43 right now. I used to carry an XDS, but now I have this one. And then I think this is the second model, or the second adaptation to the belly band, where they actually put a piece of the holster, or of the belly band, that goes over top of the holster to keep it from, you know, possibly coming off of the Velcro. I wear this all the time. You can put this under a skirt. You can put this with your yoga pants on the weekends, but since we're talking about business, skirts, pants. If you wear leggings with a long shirt over it and a pair of boots, there are numerous ways you can carry this. If you have excess around the middle and you're like, honey, I am not putting anything around my middle ever, you can wear it. Who says you have to wear it all the way down here? Who says, because we have guys are like this all the way down, right? You got no hips. We have hips. We go like this. So when we go like this, the belly band doesn't always stay like below our pants line. So it might ride up a little bit because we're curvy. And when you put the belly band on, who says it's got to stay? It should stay right around your waistline. But if you're wearing different items, not just a pair of pants that, you know, zip and button and have a belt on them, bring it up a little bit. If your natural waistline, and women know exactly what I'm talking about, if your natural waistline is a little bit higher, wear it around your natural waistline. But the thing that you have to remember is practice deploying. If it's too high, then you have to work with it lower. If it's too low, then bring it up a little bit. But whatever you choose to do and wherever you choose to carry it, because, oh, and that's the other thing. With a belly band, you don't have to carry it in the front. You don't have to carry it in the back. You can carry it in any position all the way around your waist, whatever is comfortable for you. And with any position that you choose to carry, of course, if you're carrying in 2 or 3 different places, that adds to your training time. I mean, don't think you can get away with just practicing from picking it up off the stand in front of you and go boom, 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 and then you're done. You got to try all different locations, because deployment is key, right? If you can't get it out, you can't save yourself.
Right.
So anyway, there's that one.
Okay, so the belly band works. Okay, that's great to know. You know, that's one of the things and again, this is my ignorance as a man. I mean, I'm certainly married, and I listen to my wife about things like this. But you know, I sometimes think, well, I don't think my wife's really going to want to put anything around her waist or anything. But I hadn't thought about the idea of like moving it around. For some reason, that being the man mind, you know, just really doesn't think of things like that.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and you know, it also goes on to range of motion. Where can you reach to get the gun? You know, are you a little stiff? Do you need to work on your flexibility? And if you do, well, then you're probably going to want to carry it somewhere closer to where you can reach. All of these things come into play, not just wardrobe. You know, it has to be functional, and you have to be able to get to it, and you have to be able to rely on it. Those are the most important things. First of all, yeah, let's get that out of the way. Clothes are important, are very important, but please don't mistake this whole conversation for the fact that we're trying to say that trumps everything, because it doesn't. You have to get reliable gear first, and there's plenty that can work with fashionable items. So I'm off my soapbox now, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I think one of the things that I think a lot of men certainly hear when they hear women's objections to concealed carry, that, oh, well, your clothes are more important than your life. And it's not that at all.
No.
It's just that you spend a lot more time being presentable and having to work with other people than you do having to defend yourself. So you have to make some trade-offs there that make sense, right?
Well, yeah, and it's not $1 billion industry for nothing. And you know, there's good points to that. We change the wardrobes that change seasonally are not necessarily for the men, they're for us.
Right.
I mean, there are some fashionable men out there, and I appreciate that. I love to look at it. But I guarantee you, every woman out there is changing their wardrobe. So it is a big deal.
So you like the belly band a lot, and what I'm hearing from you is that it's very flexible in terms of the kind of stuff that it works with, right? What kinds of things do you find where the belly band doesn't work? And so we talked about that slinky dress where you might in fact decide to use that purse holster, right? So other than that, what kinds of situations have you found that the belly band really doesn't work and you've come up with some other way to do it?
Okay, this is really fun. Let me show you. This is a thing that looks really scary. It's called Stowaway, and it's by DeSantis holster, and it's a neoprene, and it fits all the way around your midsection. And typically, if you look in their catalog, they're carrying this thing around their midsection. Okay, the bottom of the holster is going to hit right about where your belly band is, or your belly button is. What I did, and what I found with a lot of my female friends who have maybe a little more around the middle than they want, they'll use this, and they'll take it and maybe as an alternative to a bra holster, because this is positioned in a downward position.
Right.
Stick it right up here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can put this right underneath your bra, and it puts the gun right here, right in between your chest, and it
Okay.
sits right on your sternum,
Okay.
and it rides a little bit higher. So if you have something that might be a little more form-fitting around your midsection, and maybe you don't want that gun to print, this is up higher if you want to. I mean, who says you have to carry it down low? You don't have to. It's the same thing, right? And
Right.
it accomplishes a good goal. I've carried it a couple of times this way, and I really like it. So that's one.
Okay.
Um, let's go with, okay, let's go with this one. This is another crossbreed that I like, and this is for my little Glock 43. And I'm bringing this up because we might hear a small disruption. Sorry. Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan are meeting Andy at the door. Sorry.
I know Meg. I have met Maggie and Ronnie.
Yeah.
They're a
Megan
cute dog.
Dutch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, thank you.
Dutch. Yeah, that's right.
Maggie and Dutch.
Maggie and Dutch.
But this is kind of cool because, you know, mostly guys are wearing this, men and women are wearing this with jeans or with, I don't know, what do you wear, those 511 pants or whatever, you know, no disrespect to the people who wear those every day, but they're not for me. So anyway, let's say you have a pair of leggings that you're going to wear with a very tight top waist. As a matter of fact, it might be 511 who just made those
Yes.
leggings, right?
Yes, it is.
With
Yeah.
the top. Okay, so I'm going to try those. But this in the very top tight of the legging, then put over top of it, and this brings up something that you were talking about, deep concealment. Women are very familiar with these things. It's called a Spanx. It's a top that you put, it's a shrink top, you know, you put it, it's really tight, fits like a bathing suit underneath your clothes, and it's supposed to, you know, keep things where they're supposed to be. But if you put that on over top of the holster, and then you wear a top over top of that, usually you're going to wear with a pair of leggings, you're going to put a blousey top on, so it's not form-fitting on top of form-fitting. You've got form-fitting legs, you've got a nice loose top, but you've got that underneath, and you've got the nice tight top of the leggings. With this holster, you've got some great concealment, and it's just a holster. It's not like you have to go out and buy some different system. This can be worn with pants with a belt or with tight leggings around the top. And women, you know what I'm talking about. It's got that really thick band at the top that's nice and tight, not loose. And then you put a Spanx top over top of it, you're good to go. I've tried it. Now, the one thing that's tricky is you have to make sure that you practice the deployment. And when you reach up underneath your loose baggy shirt, you have to grab that Spanx shirt too and pull it up over your holster. That way you can get to your gun. But if you practice it, it's really not difficult. Not at all.
I think that's a good point that you keep making, and I think it's good to reiterate it because we would normally call a lot of these carry methods as non-standard carry methods, and for men, of course, you know, the normal carry method is on the belt. We get it off from the belt, and so these are very different than what certainly I'm used to. And by the way, I've never heard of Spanx before. I had no idea what that was. So I don't pay attention to what's in my wife's closet. Okay. You know, I just rather not go there. But there are, I mean, you do have to practice because these are different than the draw stroke that you probably learned in the shooting class that you took, right?
A little bit. I mean, it's still kind of, I mean, if it's still around your waistline, it's still up and out of the holster. Then you rotate and come up to high compress ready and do your thing. But the point I guess I'm trying to make is, yeah, there's traditional holsters for women, and we like those too, and aren't they great? But we've had to get creative. Because there's not a whole lot of things out there made specifically for. They're getting there, but we've had to be creative, and so I think that is kind of fun if you're creative minded. You know, don't just accept the fact that you have to wear khaki pants and a, what is that, nylon Boy Scout looking belt and a polo shirt, because I'm not doing it, you know, and
I'm not doing it. So you talked about getting creative, and you mentioned a product a little earlier that we should probably talk about, because I know this is a very, very popular product, and it's certainly got a lot of press. Let's talk about the sometimes infamous bra holster.
Okay.
What do you think?
You want to know what I think about it?
Yeah.
Well, my opinion, love, love, love the company. They think outside the box. They also offer more holsters than just the bra holster. Two I've got here, and we can talk about them if we have time. There's one that's called the Betty, which is an inside the waistband appendix carry holster, which I absolutely adore. And the other one is I've modified how you carry it to make it more like a shoulder holster on the bra, which is actually but going back to the bra holster itself, the flashbang, I don't own one, and I probably will never carry with one. However, my cousin, who is she's got a little, she's hippie, she's got little hips, and she loves it. She actually carries that way, and she practices deploying with it. And so I'm not going to say to people, don't ever do it, don't ever carry that way. It's I mean, right? Isn't that why they make all these different kinds of holsters? Because everybody's choices are different,
Right?
And that's okay with me. But I don't care for the unsafe direction. I would much rather have my guns pointed in preference again. And for deployment, if I'm practicing and I want all my draw strokes to be in the same manner. And if I carry something like that, my draw stroke is going to be in a completely different manner. So I'm going to have to practice drawing from my holster in a completely different direction than 95% of the rest of my holsters.
Right.
So those are my two reasons why I won't carry one. But it's not that.
Oh,
you know.
Okay, I think we just lost Julie. Julie, can you log out and log back in again? Yeah, we're having technical issues. We had this issue a little earlier tonight when we were testing this, and we found that her logging out and logging back in solved the problem. So we're going to have to do that, and I'll have her very, very quickly talk about the reasons that she doesn't like the bra holster all that much. And it sounds like she's not completely against them, mind you, but she just doesn't like them. So we'll get a little bit. While we're waiting for Julie to get back, I want to talk a little bit about premium membership here at Personal Defense Network. Now, you've heard me talk about all of the great things, all the great free things on Personal Defense Network, all of the videos and the articles that you can access for free. But of course, we do have a premium membership available. Now, the premium membership gets you access to a lot of content that you just don't get on the public side of Personal Defense Network. We're talking full DVD length training videos, articles, and that kind of thing. There's just a huge library of exclusive training videos that you can find on the membership side, the premium side, here at Personal Defense Network. Now, premium membership is only $39.95 a year, but I did get the management here at Personal Defense Network to give the viewers of this show a deal. And the deal is $10 for your first year. So all you have to do is sign up for premium membership here at Personal Defense Network. And in the coupon code box, type in GRANT10. That's GRANT, the number 1 and the number 0. And you'll get premium membership for $10 for your first year. And that's like 72% off. It's a phenomenal deal. And if you've kind of been on the fence about premium membership here, this gives you a chance to try it out, see how you like it for only $10. And you can certainly risk $10 to find all the great stuff that's on the premium membership side. So just go to the Personal Defense Network webpage, click on, join premium and type in that code GRANT10, GRANT10 in the coupon box, and you'll get it. And I'll have a direct link to that sign up sheet in the show notes that I'll post after the show. So remember, premium membership here at Personal Defense Network for only $10 for your first year. That's 72% off. It's a great deal. I think the membership at $39.95 is a great deal, and we have thousands of subscribers to the premium membership here at Personal Defense Network. They find it incredibly valuable at $39.95, and I think you'll find it just a screaming no-brainer good deal at $10 for your first year. Coupon code GRANT10, GRANT10. And again, I'll have a direct link in the show notes. So it looks like we've got Julie back. Julie, are you there? And hang on a minute. Oh boy, we're still having issues here. Oh boy, Julie. No, you sound like a drunken robot, actually.
Do you log in, log out again?
Yeah, try that again, and I'll spend a couple of minutes doing something else here while you log out, log back in, and see if we can get a better connection there.
2 seconds. Okay.
All right. My apologies for this. Is what happens sometimes when we're dealing with technology and things don't often work the way that we want them to. So very quickly, I want to talk to you about the Personal Defense Network Training Tour, which is in full swing now, and there are some great classes coming up. And so I want to share some of those with you now. I'm going to go to the Personal Defense Network's site here. We're going to let you see this, and you should be seeing the Personal Defense Network site now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to training. I'm going to hit the PDN Tour 2016, training dates and locations. We'll just click on that, and it brings up the,
I can hear it fine.
Here we go.
I don't know.
Oh, hi, Julie. I can hear you again. So hang on just a minute.
Oh, good. Hi.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. I'm going to talk about this training tour very, very quickly. So coming up in the training tour for the next couple of weeks, and Julie, I don't know, Julie may want to take some of these classes. There's some great
I am. I'm taking the one in Saline, Michigan on the 27th and 28th.
Oh, cool. Cool.
I'm going to be there. Yeah.
So we have, let's see, this is May here, and I need to go to May instead of June. But so coming up this weekend, there's some great classes out there, and there may still be slots open in these, and you can check these out on the site. Safer, Faster Knife Defense for my buddy Alessandro Padovani, definitely worth looking at. And Rob Pincus is teaching combat focused shooting. But going on and looking over in the next couple of weeks, in Reno, Nevada, again, my buddy Alessandro Padovani is going to be teaching extreme close quarters tactics. Now, this is a great class to learn how to use your gun when you're in contact with your attacker. Superb course. My buddy Ale, as his friends call it, teaches a great course. That's going to be superb. If you've already got a good, solid defensive shooting course under your belt, and you've learned how to do things like drawing from disadvantaged positions, now it's time to expand the range of circumstances where you can use those skills and get into something like this extreme close quarter tactics class. In New Jersey on the 14th, my friend Cecil Birch is going to be doing immediate action combatives core coursework, and that's his basic course for learning how to do things like grappling and that kind of thing. Cecil, of course, is a legend in the martial arts world, particularly in the world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and this is his basic defensive martial arts class. Really good class. I'm hoping to take that one of these days myself. And of course, in Hastings, Michigan,
I'm going to be in that class.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Hastings, Michigan, Rob Pincus is going to be teaching combat focused shooting again, his famous course. And then, of course, we had the NRA show on the 20th and such. Cecil Birch will be in Albuquerque, New Mexico on the 20th and 21st, teaching, again, his immediate action combatives coursework. And again, that's a course both Julie and I want to take. Chris Fry in West Hampton Beach, New York, is going to be teaching practical shotgun and practical carbine skills, back-to-back days there. Shotgun on the first day, carbine on the second, in New York. So one of the sad things is that not a lot of trainers go to New York, but Chris Fry will be there. Great instructor, and I think you'll like his practical carbine and practical shotgun skills courses. Rob Pincus is going to be continuing his tour in Saline, Michigan for combat-focused shooting. And again, Alessandro Padovani, who's doing a lot of teaching this year, is going to be teaching women's personal safety fundamentals in Lawton, Oklahoma. So if you're in Oklahoma, you know, a lot of trainers don't get to Oklahoma, and this is a great chance to take a class from one of the best. And then I'll wrap up here with Cecil Birch, again, teaching in San Francisco, California. Folks in California, here's your chance, and particularly in the Bay Area. You don't get a lot of really good stuff in the Bay Area sometimes. But Cecil Birch will be there teaching combined course with Larry Lindemann called Managing the Don't Shoot Yet. And I've heard superb things about this course. What do you do if you're not actually ready to shoot yet, or you don't need to shoot yet? What do you do? So superb course with Cecil and Larry Lindemann. Definitely check that out, and check out all the great courses here at the site on the spring training tour, because there are a lot of great things coming up. A bunch of them I want to take, some of them Julie wants to take too. So
yeah,
cool. So Julie, we're back. It sounds like we've got good audio again. So very, very quickly, the couple of reasons, because we kind of were in and out there when you were talking about the reasons you do and don't like the bra holster. Just kind of recap quickly.
Okay, real quick. The position of the firearm when it's on the bra is in a position that I don't like. I would rather have the gun positioned down as opposed to over and behind. So the positioning of the gun has something to do with it. And with drawing from the holster, everything I draw is from down into an upward position. And from there, it's up into a downward position. And that just means extra work for me. It's not as cohesive in my training. And I like to keep things simple because I don't have a lot of time. And I want to keep everything simple. When I go to the range, I want to practice one direction, not two.
You know, I think that's an interesting point. And if a woman were going to choose that as her primary mode of carry, that's not as much of an issue, you don't think? Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Well, you know, again, it's a personal choice. And like this.
Oh, gosh.
I have a friend who's got to carry. Now, somebody's going to scream and cry about comfort. It's about safety. And yeah, they're partially right. But if it's not comfortable, you're not going to carry it. You're not gonna,
okay, Julie, we got
unless
about...
you choose to carry something else.
We only got
and
about...
there are other forms of personal items.
Yeah, we're only getting about 10% of what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a very, very bad connection there, unfortunately.
You can hear me? Can you hear me now? How about now?
Oh, that's better.
Okay, good. Andy moved.
Blame it on the husband. Blame it on Andy.
Yeah, always. So basically what I was saying was people are going to scream and cry because I've heard it before. Listen, concealed carry isn't about comfort. Get used to it. And yeah, I get that. And okay, fine. But you want to be real? If it's not comfortable, women aren't going to carry it. So there is a happy medium. So with the little one-liners and thinking that you're cute because you want to entice people to come and try. And
okay, we've lost Julie again. My apologies, folks. Julie, if you can hear me, tell Andy to quit watching Netflix. Tell him to shut down the Netflix.
There's no TV on. There's nothing on.
He's watching him on his iPad, probably. Okay, so let's see here if we can turn around, maybe get a little better signal or something. Try that. Oh, hey, that's cool with the flag on the.
Better? Thanks.
Hopefully.
Is that any better?
The audio is a little better. So let's.
Okay.
I want to. I think it's pretty obvious that it's going to be a lot harder for a woman, particularly if she's dressing professionally, to get a really consistent carry method. Unlike men, we can pretty much carry in the same way all the time. But I'm getting the impression that when we start looking at all the different things about wardrobe and everything else, that women have a much more difficult time with that. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no, because you have, if you choose to carry inside the waistband appendix carry, you can pretty much wear that belly band with just about anything.
Okay.
And I've got some clothing options to kind of show what I'm talking about. Is that okay?
Fashion show. Let's go.
All right. All right, here we go. We're going to start with the dressiest stuff first. This is, everybody has a Casper suit in their wardrobe, and this is mine. It's beautiful. I love it. It's very comfortable. It's a 3-piece. And then why you your waistline where the stand. And then you've got this nice light loose top that goes on top. Got it?
Okay, I think we got most of that. You were breaking up again. And
oh, okay. One more. Okay, ready? Here
okay, go.
If you're dressing, this is a pants top, pants and tank top right here. This is a nice tank top. It's nice and flowy. See, that's the key. You have to make sure that what you're pairing is not going to be too tight around your midsection, especially for the professional environment. A, it doesn't look good. And B, if you're going to be carrying and you're going to be sitting down and sitting up, standing up, sitting down, standing up, you're going to need something that is going to move with you. So I like these lovely dress pants here. I think this is a Otter Creek outfit. Don't forget the patterns. Patterns tend to break up. If you've got a little bit of printing around your waistline, patterns are going to cover that up easily. So that's another one. That's Tuesday. All right.
That's Tuesday.
Wednesday, I decide to wear a dress. And I have, oh, by the way, I have a lot of these, you know how I do the functional fashion pictures on Facebook and on my blog? I actually have, this is a dress. This is a full-length dress. And if you can see the front of it, it crisscrosses in the front.
Right.
So this is extra material, right? The dress is underneath that, and this is just extra material that drapes over the front. That easily conceals a high carry. So you're talking either the Maryland as a shoulder holster or the Stowaway that's way up here by the sternum. So I wouldn't wear a belly band. Go ahead.
Let me get this straight, because I keep in mind I'm not familiar with this, but basically what you've got is you've got a dress and then kind of a like a tent with a rain fly. Sorry, but yeah, I know. I probably should. I probably shouldn't have said that. That was probably the wrong thing. No, it's okay. But so the other stuff is kind of around it. So you're actually wearing the belly band on the inner part of the dress?
Oh yeah, you're gonna wear it all the way. See, this is the thing. You can't be too proud, because if you're gonna pull this out, you're gonna hike your dress all the way up. Okay. You got to know that going into it. Otherwise, don't wear a dress. You're gonna. That's the one thing I would say. And listen, if my life depended upon it, I'm okay with that. Another thing to point out, I wear a lot of V-necks, whether it's a shirt or whether it's a dress, because one of the things I'll do in another concealed carry option is I will stick of course this is not a V-neck, but I will stick a knife on my bra right here. Okay. And if I've got a V-neck, that's easily deployable, especially if you're in a close quarter situation like this and your hands are up here. You know, you might be able to struggle to get this. Otherwise, it's right here on my centerline carry, right by my gun. Okay. Thursday. Okay. Thursday. Now, this is another one. This is cute. You're going to wear this with some pants or a cute little skirt. But this is actually a nice fitted denim jacket that flares at the waist. Okay, so you want that little flare at the waist to kind of take the eye away from the center. But look at what you've got underneath it. This is, again, it's another tank top, but it's got a nice print on it. And at the bottom, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. It's got the elastic bottom. It gathers and it blouses out. So that's really going to conceal something. And then if you don't want to wear the jacket or you want to take the jacket off when you're in the office, this is so blousy and it's nice and flowy material. This is going to conceal the firearm and you're going to be okay. Again, it's just pulling up the shirt for deployments. Where are we at? Thursday or Friday?
That was Thursday.
That was Thursday? All right. This I like. We're probably going to do a couple of Thursdays.
Only
this
on
I
Personal
like
Defense
because
Network,
it's what's that?
Only on Personal Defense Network do you get a concealed carry fashion show. Remember this. Okay, go ahead.
I know. So here we have a tank top underneath of a very flowy shirt. And again, look at the material. Material is very important, and knowing your body type is very important. I'm not saying dress for concealed carry. I'm saying dress for your body. And if you're going to be concealed carrying, keep that in mind. But don't just go buy something because you think it's going to cover something up, and then you look, you don't feel good. You don't look good in what you're wearing.
Right.
Because then you're not going to wear it. So this, again, is a very flowy top. It's going with a pair of leggings and a pair of, I've got a pair of pumps over there that I wear them with, high heels. That's another thing we have to talk about, isn't it?
Well,
high heels.
Unfortunately, we're running out of time, believe it or not.
Are we really?
Yeah, we are.
Well, all right.
We are just, in fact, we are just about out. We only got about 3 minutes here. All right, so.
Do you want to do like a quick flash round of questions?
I think we're not even going to have time for that. What I want you to do, first of all, can we get you back on, like, and do another round of this and go, because there's so much material that I wanted to talk about that we're not even going to get to. So tell us where people can find you and how to get in touch with you and how to follow you on Facebook and all that stuff.
Okay. You can find me on Facebook at Julie Loeffler, Loeffler. You can find me on Facebook with my business, which is Mid-Ohio IMB, or you can find me on Twitter personally, or you can find me on Instagram personally. And when I use my personal page is really for business as well. So you'll see all the functional fashion postings. You'll see my articles. I have a blog, julieleffler.wordpress.com. It's called The Trigger Press. And we talk about books we like, gear we like. We didn't even talk about all the holsters. We didn't talk about the knives, the flashlights. We didn't talk about nail length. We didn't talk about shoes, belts. I mean, there's just so much when it comes to concealed carry with women that, I would love to come back and talk about this stuff.
Okay, let's plan on it then, and get you back on like real soon, maybe the next show or two, and talk some more about this, because wow, there's a lot of stuff to cover. I didn't even think about that much. So thank you, Julie, for being on. And for everybody else, remember a couple of things. If you need to get in touch with me, send me an email. Tell me how you like the show. Grant@grantcunningham.com. You can always get me there. Of course, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And I even have a Flipboard magazine under Grant Cunningham. Just search Flipboard for Grant Cunningham. You will find it. And of course, always here on Personal Defense Network on the PDN blog. Catch all my latest ramblings and rantings there, and of course my blog at can't even say my name tonight. My blog at grantcunningham.com. So don't miss that. Also, don't forget, our next show is going to be on the 26th of this month. It's 1 week later because of the upcoming NRA show. So don't forget that. We'll see you on the 26th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And don't forget the spring training tour. Check all those things out. And again, I'll have all of this stuff, the links to the belly bands and everything else she talked about in the show notes a little while after the show actually posts. Don't forget about the free PDN newsletter. Sign up for that. And of course, the special $10 for your first year premium membership here at PDN. It's a great deal, so take advantage of that. And we'll see you on the next show, and we're going to have Julie on again real soon. So thank you, Julie, for being here.
Grant, thank you very much. It was great to be on. A great honor. Thank you.
All right, great. And we'll see you again on the 26th, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good night.